Thomas. I live in Murfreesboro, where my husband and I are the proprietors of the Douglas School Art Place. The Doug was Murfreesboro's segregated Frederick Douglass School for 3/4 of a century, from 1897 through 1966. It's a home place and a valued place by many generations of black students in Murfreesboro. And for the last 20 years, we have had it as an art place. We call it the Doug for short. It's a valuable resource for many people in the artist community particularly. But let's face it, it's a big pile of bricks. And we live between the New Madrid earthquake zone and the Wabash earthquake zone. And one of my concerns, among many, which have been voiced here, is the deep injection well-induced earthquakes, which seem likely to happen. We've known about this since the 60s. They did a deep injection well in Colorado. The Army did it in order to get rid of some of their toxic chemicals, and earthquakes started happening, and it was determined that they were in fact caused by this well, which they closed. But earthquakes did continue for quite some time. So we've known about this possibility for 50 years. And we also know that any number of 3, 4, and even 5 Richter scale earthquakes have been triggered by earthquakes. There are hundreds, literally hundreds of examples of this happening all over the country, in places where there never were earthquakes, Oklahoma and Ohio, for instance. And it seems like these rules don't really address this question. 4.9 doesn't seem like much, but we really don't know if in an active earthquake zone like we live between two whether a major earthquake could happen. The one that somebody referred to earlier was actually 3. There were 3 major earthquakes in the early 19th century, 1811 through 12. They were rated as high as 8.7 on the Richter scale. And, people actually reported that the ground rolled like water and the Mississippi River ran backwards. Bells were rung in Boston and Washington, D.C. So this is a big one, people, and here we are right on it. And it would break my heart if my beautiful old pile of bricks, which means something to so very many people, fell into rubble because of it. Apparently, the IDNR was supposed to consult with the Illinois Geological Survey to determine seismic rules for these issues, and whether that was actually done or not, it doesn't seem to have been. But there's a Stanford University professor geophysicist, Mark Zoback, who is a proponent of fracking, actually thinks it will help us out. I mean, most of us here don't think so, but even he says that this is a serious peril and there should be at least these minimum precautions. Injection wells should not be placed in active earthquake zones and in brittle rock.
15 seconds, ma'am.
The formations for injection should be very carefully selected for qualities where they will, the high pressures and the volume of water will hopefully not affect them, and seismic monitoring equipment should certainly be required for each well, because this is the only way we're going to really find out if the wells do cause the earthquakes or not. And certainly there should also be protocols and rules saying what should happen if in fact seismic activity occurs, and require that the wells be shut down if they do.
All right, thank you, Ms. Thompson.